G'day mates, Vlad here. How's it going? So today I'm going to be looking at one of the often forgotten units in Age of Empires 2, the Elephant Archer. Some people don't like the Elephant Archer because it doesn't have a huge range, it's quite expensive, they're slow, they're very chunky. Just take 1 second to look how stupid I am. Oh, I go back to build the house, I walk away. I go back to build the house, I walk away. Pathetic. Anyway, the Elephant Archer is expensive, it's very chunky, it gets in the way, it's slow moving, it doesn't have a lot of range, it's easily countered by onagers and monks. So there are plenty of reasons why people don't like the Elephant Archer. Now what the Elephant Archer does have going for it is it's very population efficient, meaning it's a very strong unit if you take away the factor of it being expensive. And it is the Indians' unique unit. Now that's important because it is so expensive when it comes to food. That food has to come from somewhere. So where does that food come from? In short, it comes from the cheaper villages. So the Indians have a bonus where the villages are cheaper, so villages cost 10% in Dark Age less, 15% less in Feudal, and 20% less in Castle, and 25% less in Imperial Age. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you create 100, 110, 120 villages, that saving really seems to add up, and it really helps get your early eco going, because you have a whole heap of extra food. So I'm up against humans. So we missed a bit of dialogue there. I said, "Good luck, have fun, mate." And he said, "No!" So I asked him why. Because this game makes me angry. And doesn't it make us all angry at times? Age of Empires is sometimes an hour-long investment, and sometimes, especially when you get your butt kicked, it can really suck and it can really get you down. But don't worry, we all win some, we all lose some. Anyway, let's carry on with this. So he's a Cuman player, up against me who's Indian, and what makes the Cumans very scary on Arena is you can't scout them. So literally, even if I was all out here doing everything, I wouldn't know what he's going for. So he could go for an extra TC in Feudal and boom quite a bit, or he could go for a really aggressive ram push in Feudal. Or he could just go fast castle, 2 TCs or 3 TCs like most people do on Arena with other civs. So if you're not prepared for the early ram rush, you can get punished. But if you over prepare for the ram rush and it doesn't come, you can be so far behind in eco. So it's all standard on my end. What I'm aiming to do is 2 defensive castles. My original plan is to have one about here and one about here, so I can slowly mass my elephants as I build my eco. So we'll have a look at what he's doing. So we're both on... Actually, I'm quite ahead in villages. I'm on 22 vils. He's on 19. And I don't know why that's happened. He must have made some serious mistakes on the way. Luring his boar. So I saw him pushing his deer earlier. I don't push my deer. I've said it many times, I just don't have the skill. If I end up trying to push my deer, I end up messing up really bad in my eco and things just go haywire, so I just take the hit and I mill my deer. So he's going forward, he's building a barracks, which I've got no idea of. I really should have scouted better. I mean, I've scouted all of this, but he managed to walk a villager all the way over there and then build a barracks here without me noticing. And a siege workshop. So So he is indeed going for a ram push, and I've literally got no idea it's coming. There we go. So we'll go back to full view. Alright, so I'm in Castle Age, he's got one ram. I'm building a castle here. Let's see what happens. Alright, so from my view, I did not see that villager walk in. But I see it as a battering ram with some units. All I have is villagers. So for... what a hacker. I don't know what he means by that. Let's see what he sees from his perspective. He can't even see my castle in here. So I don't know what he was referring to. So it looks like he's building archers, getting his ram, and his plan is to come into my base. Luckily I'm going to have this castle up by the time he gets there. This is protected by TC range, this is protected by TC range. This isn't. So he, rather than try to do some real damage, he just settles for taking out a house, it looks like. Alright, now what? He decides to skirt around the castle fire. He sees a stable. Alright, so he sees a stable and he sees a castle. Look at this archer. Mr. Moonwalking Archer. That was funny. Alright. So he sees stables, he sees a castle, and he sees elephant archers. So if I were him, I would think I was going for maybe elephant archers and camels, or elephant archers and hussar. Probably elephant archers and hussar because, you know, going double gold can be hard. At this point, his ram rush failed. We're both on 53 villages. And he's going up to Castle Age. So even though he lost the ram rush, having the same amount of villages, he's not really too far behind, and our scores are somewhat similar. So nothing to worry about there. I do have a better defensive setup, even though my original plan was to have a castle here, and sort of one here to cover the whole base. He's got no castles, so if I was to attack him, it's not really that well fortified, where if he was to attack me, he's only got this wall here that isn't really protected by castle fire. And these military buildings here which he built are quite exposed. There we go. I'm starting to run away on the veal count. I'm on 67, I'm on 70 veals, he's on 58, so he's now got what I would consider quite a small... He's in a bit of trouble if you ask me. So he's building 2 barracks and 3 stables. Now I don't know why he's building stables. I'd like to know what his logic behind that is, because Indians are known for their good camels. He might think that I won't build camels because he's already seen elephant archers, and because elephant archers are expensive and camels also cost gold, he might think that might not be an investment I can make. Running further away into the veal count, I'm on 91 veals, he's on 70. And he's got way too much gold. So if he wants to get to Imperial anytime soon, he won't unless he uses his market. Alright, so what's the army looking like? He's got 2 military and I've got 8. So we both don't really have a military capable of anything. But I'm way ahead on the veal count. And look at all these farms. All the food that's going to be coming in from then. Let's see what resources I've got. I've also got too much gold and too much wood, so I haven't been managing my eco very well either, and that might save him. So it seems like he's going entirely for Steppe Lancers at the moment, and he's getting the ram upgrade. So rams and Steppe Lancers against elephant archers so far. But as you can see, I'm getting the cavalry upgrades for my light cav. His eco's not looking bad, not quite as strong as mine, but our scores are quite equal. He's got only 4 more military than me. Alright, let's skip forward to some action. So I'm starting to create some light cavalry. He's going straight Steppe Lancers. I'm blowing him out of the water in terms of villages. It's 120 to 86. Military is 30 to 25 in his favour. So we've got some military on the move now. And I'm just attacking with a couple of light cav. Let's look at things from my perspective. I've got lots of elephant archers, 21 of them, and 10 light cav. He's got 36. He's got 40 Steppe Lancers. So from his perspective, all he can see me having is light cav, and he knows I've got a few elephant archers from what he saw before. He has no idea that I've got that. So he goes in, clears them out easily, and at this point he probably feels like this is his time to strike. I've just hit an Imperial Wage, so he knows I've just spent 1,000 food, 800 gold, and he's got 5 capped rams and about 40 odd Steppe Lancers. So if he microed this better and put the rams in first, they would have soaked up a lot of arrow fire, and this would have been probably him winning this battle quite comfortably. Let's see how it goes though. As you can see over here, I'm creating camels as well. So I've got elephants, light cav, and camels versus his Steppe Lancers. He's running that battle away, but leaving his rams here to die. So I think his logic is he'll run his army away, build it up to a point where he can win, but because his eco is so inferior, it's just going to let me build my army even stronger at a faster rate than his. So that battle there was pretty much his last chance of winning. Got this huge army. Let's look at his entire army. He's got 48 Steppe Lancers. I've got 53 units comprising elephant archers, camels, which are heavy camels, and hussar. He's going up to Imperial Age. Gosh, doesn't that look nasty? Alrighty. They're not that slow, elephant archers. I think they get too much of a bad rap. Especially if you're 1000 elo or below. This game's played at just below 1000 elo, maybe one game below 1000 elo. And these elephant archers are really serving me well. Oh, look at this fight. My gosh. Holy hell. How many hits does it take down an elephant archer with elite step lancers? Oh, these aren't elite, these are just normal step lancers. Gosh. I've hardly lost any elephants. 31 elephants, I've gained elephants. So I keep adding to their number rather than him detracting from the number. And he's starting to create Kipchaks now. Why Kipchaks? Kipchaks lose to camels and they lose to elephant archers. Alright, I've got a Treb now. So all I have to do is keep pushing in this game and it's a certain victory. Because he can't really... It's a tough composition to counter. And he's so far behind on eco. And he's got the smaller army as well, so he's really got nothing going for him. And I'm starting to take all these outside resources too. So I have pretty much unlimited resources. He's got quite a few resources still, but they're going to run out eventually. And he's going to have to do more microing with his army than I am, because... In fact, I don't even need to work on my eco. My eco's as good as it's going to get. Oh my gosh. Now there's no point sending this forward. He's just going to die. Just going to die. I guess he might snipe the Treb. But there's more Trebs on their way. I've still got a Treb here. He's nowhere. He's got Kipchaks, which I guess can keep my units away from his walls. But they can't outrange a Treb. "22 Kipchaks. Alright, let's speed this up a little bit. It's getting a bit boring just watching the elephant archers stand still and the one Treb do its work. There we go. The Kipchaks took out one trebuchet, but just as two more arrived. Now this is why you've got to get that archer tech in the university. What's it called? What is that tech called? You know, the one that makes makes your archers more accurate against moving targets? Because I just lost my Treb needlessly there. Ballistics, that's the one. That's why you need ballistics. Because if I had ballistics, that would not have happened. Alright, this is the other problem with elephant archers. You take out the gate, and it's only 35 elephant archers, but it's blocking the way for my ram to go through. So that can be an annoying thing about it. We've got to walk him in. Split formation to create a gap. Finally got the ram through. Look, he's closed the range on the elephant archers, but still more of his units are dying than mine. Quite comfortably so. My gosh. So what do you guys think of elephant archers? Leave a comment in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. And tell me any ideas you want to see of units that don't usually get used, and I'll see if I can find a way of incorporating them into the game. Let's look at the stats. So I win across the board, pretty even on society. Killed more units, lost less units, more buildings raised, less buildings lost, largest army. Eco won across the board, technology across the board, society, I had quite a few more villages, and the timeline, he did alright and was winning up until I researched Castle Age, and then it sort of swung. So as you can see, at around 1000 elo, elephant archers are perfectly viable, especially on arena, and I really do think they get too much of a bad rap. They are such a powerful unit, and unless you're playing with really good players, the cost and efficiency doesn't make too much of a difference because of the Indian strong eco bonus. Have a great day, like and subscribe, leave me ideas of which units to do this with in the future, and have a great night.